Want to welcome to the program this morning our guest, Deedee Pfeifer, who is going to be on the new ABC show called Big Sky next Tuesday. And Deedee, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, Rollin. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. Yeah, are you home in Hollywood or the Hollywood area this morning?
Actually, I'm still in Canada. We shoot Big Sky in Canada to look like Montana.
Okay. Which part of Canada are you in then?
Well, we're in stationed in and around BC, but we film all over, especially, of course, in the mountain areas because it has to look like Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we've been here for almost a year, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, is there a particular reason? Was it the COVID concerns or other reasons that the filming was done in Canada versus grabbing a spot in Montana?
Yeah, dude, it was so crazy. We were in New Mexico, started the show, pre-production, just wardrobe, hair, makeup, just the very beginnings, meeting everybody, meeting the producers, props, all that stuff. And then we started hearing about this thing called a pandemic. I had to Google it. I'm like, what's that, right? And then flew home to go get my boys set up to go back to New Mexico to film the show. And on the way home, my friend said, "You better get some toilet paper when you get home." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "What?" I stupidly went to Costco, and I'm still traumatized over that. I can't. My arm was almost ripped off trying to get toilet paper, reaching in to grab, a roll of it or a bag of it. So at that point, a day later, they sent all the cast home, crew home, and then we were in lockdown.
Yeah.
Yep. And we did not know, like everybody, we didn't know what was going on. And then months later, finally, we got the phone call that we are going to continue on with the show, but in Canada.
Interesting.
Because, the numbers in the States were still still really high. Yeah.
So, kind of weird. I mean, we're all in the same kind of boat as we look back over the last year, where we were a year ago and where we are now, and the adjustments we've made. Is there something besides, of course, you've had a chance to get back, working as an actress here. Beyond that, is there another positive side of this whole last year that you've been able to enjoy?
It's actually funny you mentioned that. What's a great question, because I was thinking the other day that if we don't get through this pandemic having learned something or changed in some way that's positive. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of negatives that happened. Don't get me wrong, can't take that away. But also that there's got to be some positive in it. And I would have to say that it's made me have to stop and kind of think, really reflect on my life. What are my values? Am I in harmony with my values? Am I really living the life that I want to live? Because when the pandemic was very scary and still is, really, right? But I got to spend some time with my kids. Well, the back of their heads. They did a lot of electronics. Spent a lot of time at the back of their heads. And but I also, I got sober 3 years ago. So for me, the pandemic was a challenge. It's like if I can remain sober and not smoke cigarettes as well, I quit both. Then I knew that my journey in recovery was going to be successful, because that was really hard. I know a lot of people relapsed during the pandemic. So for me, it was like, wow, I'm a little bit stronger than I ever thought I was. And it's like, if I can do it, I want to tell anybody out there, you can do it too.
Well,
right? Even though it's hard. Yeah. And yeah.
And one of the things I was going to ask you about before we, 'cause I know we have limited time to talk about Big Sky, which is going to be debuting next week. But one of the things you talk about, the challenges people have psychologically. This is something that you've been working on in the 10 years of absence from being an actress, because we used to see you all the time with variety of shows, movies, and stuff like that. But you took 10 years off and you went back to not only you were raising your two kids, you're a single mom of these two young men, but you also went back to work on your master's, but a master's in, you first had a bachelor's degree in psychology, but then you earned a master's of social work. So what was the motivation there?
Well, actually, 10 years ago, I decided I've always tried to help people, and I've always volunteered, but I never had a degree. I never went to college. I graduated in 1982. And no phones, no computers. There was no thesis statement. There was nothing. I didn't even know what algebra was. So when I decided to go to college 10 years ago, it was brand spanking new for me. And all I knew is I wanted to help people. And I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't even know what degree I was going to go for. I just told them, I went to a community college and said, I want to help people. And they said, well, you want to be a psych major? I said, sure. So started taking classes, and so I stumbled into it. And along the process, I discovered that I really wanted to go more towards the social worker degree because it was more broad, and it for me, I could, my area of concentration, which was mental health, substance use, and those experiencing homelessness, I cared very much about. So I ended up with a bachelor's of psych and then a master's of social work.
Well,
That's basically how that happened. But it took 10 years. I didn't mean to take 10 years. That was never my, I was just going to go get one of those things called degree in a year or two and then go help people. Well, I didn't know that's not the way it works.
takes a little bit longer, yeah. Well, let's quickly talk, because I know we're running out of time, Deedee, about Big Sky. Give us the premise of what this show's all about. It sounds interesting. There's been a lot of people liking, with Yellowstone and other shows that are set up in the neck of the woods that we're talking about. What is Big Sky all about?
Big Sky is basically off of C.J. Bach's bestseller books. The first one that has already aired. Big Sky is actually after the highway. If you haven't seen it, you can binge it on Hulu or go to abc.com and catch up, because this Tuesday we're starting with the second bottleneck, which is his other book called Bitter Roots, which is this crazy, dangerous family. So I would binge it first to get caught up so you can see how crazy the show is. This is a show where you never know what's going to happen. It's a cliffhanger after a cliffhanger, and you never know who's going to die. You never know how they're going to die. It's a thriller. It's sexy, emotionally charged, and got a lot of diverse characters in it, and they're real characters. They're like real people. That's what makes it scary. Like what happens in Big Sky could really happen in real life. That's scary.
Well, that's it does sound like something that will capture you and get you sucked into watching this. So, all right, so we're gonna go binge watch the season 1 so that we can be ready next Tuesday for the next bit of this here. Now, what's it like? Because in this whole production, your brother-in-law is actually the producer of the program. Is that good or bad working for somebody in the fam?
It's weird. And the reason why I say that is because David and I are really close. Like I am with my entire family. I love all my family, but we never talk shop. Like Michelle and I don't talk shop. We're a very weird family that we talk about everything, but not shop. We just never have, right? So all of a sudden, out of literally nowhere, a year ago, he texted me, and I didn't even know he had my number, to be honest with you, because I see him on holidays and birthdays, but he's never texted me or called me. And he said, "Hey, Deedee, you still acting? I think I have a role for you." I was like, I am now. Right? So it was really, nobody was more surprised than me. And David didn't even realize that he had threw me a lifeline, because I just spent 10 years and I sold my home and everything, and to get out of financial debt from having been in school. And I was about to start my journey as a social worker. And I don't know if you know this, but they don't make like hardly any money. And I didn't know how I was going to survive financially doing that with my 2 sons in tow, because I take care of them as well, 100%. And then he offered me this role. So he threw me the lifeline, and he didn't even know it. Isn't that cool?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, thank you. Yes, I'm acting again. Yes.
Hey, Deedee, I just got a text somebody from Kim. She said, I binge watched the show and she loves it. So you've got some great reviews already.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah, so Kim, you're going to love the Klein Saucers. They're a whacked out family. They're coming.
Deedee, I could talk to you a lot longer, but I know there's others that want to do the same. Deedee Pfeifer, it's Big Sky. The second season starts on Tuesday on ABC. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the program. Enjoy your Tuesday up in Canada.
Oh, thank you so much. You have a beautiful day, too.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.